So I was cleaning out my garage in October, and I'm just not the most graceful person there is, and I stepped on some rugs that were rolled up, and they gave way, and I slapped my hand onto my car on the way down, and it was very painful, and I broke it. So I broke this small metacarpal bone here. It's a big deal to me because I'm a musician and a cellist, and a lot of people might not need that bone, but I really do. And so I went to urgent care. I had a makeshift brace on my hand, and I came to church a few days later. I was a little bit late, so I just kind of came in the back and sat down, and nobody knew what had happened to me at this church.
So I have a friend. We've known each other for quite some time, and I thought about inviting her to church, but never really specifically did it. And we were talking on the phone, some things she's going through, some things I've gone through, and I just felt a leading to specifically ask her to come the following Sunday. When Sunday rolled around, I hesitated because I hadn't got a firm commitment, but I thought about texting her and then thought about not because I didn't want to be pushy. And I ended up just texting and saying, hey, if you're still considering it, service starts at 10:30. Then she texted back, said she'd meet me here. And she knows a few other folks. We visited. It was a great time. She was loving worship because Joel had chosen one of her favorite worship songs for the set that day, and the sermon was spot on to some of the things that we had been working through.
And at the end of the service, Pastor Cooley was speaking, and he gave a word, and he actually said, I feel like someone has injured, or maybe he even said broken their hand, and he pointed to not this hand, but this hand, in the exact place that I had broken my hand. I came here 10 months ago from, I guess you call it a cessationalist view, where prophecy, the gifts of speaking in tongues, healing, and even the Holy Spirit just wasn't ever really talked about. And I was blessed to come to this church when he was giving a sermon series on the Holy Spirit. And when I walked into church here, I get emotional because I felt it. I felt the Holy Spirit here.
Then at the end, as Thomas always does, he got a word. And his word that day was for someone that had a problem with their neck. And his words were that their neck was locked up. And she just turned to me and she says, I'm going up for prayer. And one of our friends, who knows her well, came up and prayed with her. The reason she went up was that for the past 10 years, she has had a problem with her neck. She couldn't turn it one way completely. When she was always talking about it, the words that she used were locked up. And she's like, he's talking to me. He's talking to me that day.
So when he spoke about that, it was almost like a message that the Lord knew I was in the right place. So afterwards, I had been up for prayer before a few times, and I just knew that I had to go up for prayer. So I went up, and a woman prayed over me. She prayed for my hand and for the healing. I went to physical therapy, and she was almost like, what are you doing here? Like, outside of doing some basic exercises to get the feeling back and get the pain gone, it was healed. And I've been working back into using it ever since.
And so as she was getting prayer, she was healed. Spoke to her today, 11 days later, she can still move her neck either way. I guess in my mind, it's all because of obedience. It's all because of stepping out and having that faith. It's just specifically asking her to come and following up, even though I had maybe the enemy telling me I was going to be pushy. But I wanted to be obedient to what I thought he wanted me to do. I had no idea what his plans were. But what happened was that my friend was healed.
I guess the main thing is I feel like the Lord has given me some of these experiences to show me that healing really is real. The strength of healing prayer to me, and the fact that Pastor Thomas literally had a word for me and pointed exactly to where my hand was broken, it just really gave me confidence in the power of healing.